Hi, I'm Emery Martinez. I'm the BSC president, and some alumni and Madeline had some questions that I'll be answering today. Let's get to it. Um, First question is, what are your career plans? How does these relate to your decision to be the BSC president? Hmm. Well, I plan to become a licensed clinical social worker, which seems pretty far off from being the BSC president. Um, but I think my favorite part of this role has been a person to support others. So, not too far off. Second question, as president, what were you and the BSC planning to do, and how have those plans changed since the COVID-19 pandemic and closure of the campus? Yeah, the board was impacted. We had plenty of projects that we were planning to do, such as revising our party policies that ended up getting derailed to focus all of our energies on developing COVID-19 related policies like best practices to follow in the House, creating avenues for financial relief for our members, and really assessing BC financials as a whole to understand how we're going to be impacted by this situation in the future. Other question is, what have you learned about privilege from the BSC? Good question. Um, I think I've learned that it's everywhere, that we all have it. And that's a really hard reality to acknowledge and address. But I think we can either spend our time denying it, or we can come together and build communities that are meant for accountability and healing. And I really think that's what the BSC is all about. It's not just affordable housing, it's about creating spaces that work for all of us. Another question is, the BSC is a cheap place to live and it's easy to find friends. How much do students pick up on cooperative ideals as a mass movement for organizing and rational human behavior now and in the future? That's a hard question to answer, because I think it varies from person to person, house to house, and like year to year. I think it can be difficult to do that on top of studying, and then possibly even working for some people. But I think our organization does an amazing job of educating members about the cooperative movement and giving them a platform to really self-govern ourselves. And so the opportunity is there for people to take. And I feel like the people who do go above and beyond, and they always impress me. Going on to the last question. As president of the board of directors, your fiduciary duty is to make decisions that will put you in the BSC in the best position to serve not just your peers, but students for many years to come. What are the challenges to such a position? Yeah, that's a great question. Um, I think for me, a big challenge is knowing or realizing that no one is ever going to be happy and we can't reach perfection. Um, and so you have to have a lot of grit to be able to handle those realities, and that like internal conflict within the organization, um, and be able to make decisions that benefit the BSC in the long term, um, and ultimately meet our mission. And I think if we're doing that, it can be easy to communicate that to our membership, framing our decisions as the big picture. And a lot of that has to do with educating our membership, getting their input in these decision making, to ultimately come up with an idea that is ideal for the majority of folks. Well, those are all the questions that we have today. Thank you all for your time and for supporting the BSC.